Okay, we're live on every channel there is to mankind right now. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me put the other laptop out of the room. Okay, okay, we're ready to go, and I got everything. I'm recording this live, and also I'm streaming this on our YouTube channel for Women in Communication, and also our fan page, and also our Twitter page, just in case if people can't get in. We've been promoting it, so it's everywhere. So again, hi everybody, welcome to the Association for Women in Communication, the South Florida chapter. And we've been working on this Women in NFT Art conversation for a while now. We're excited to hear a lot of media buzz about this. And so I wanted to let you know who we are real quick before I turn over the mic to our communication director. And she will be the moderator for this evening's Twitter Spaces. And before I start, if everybody can go ahead and tweet this out, I'd like to get us as many people as possible on. And I'm going to be running the analytics in a few minutes to get everyone started. So Women in Communication was founded in 1909 with the actually 7 women journalists. Back then, they were going to University of Washington, D.C. They wanted to get together and create a newspaper. And it was also there, that's when it was one of the first women ran newspaper in 1909. And from that moment on, the Women in Communication was founded. And over the years, we have gone from different, from TV, we covered the Vietnam War, all the different war. We've done everything. So as myself, as a communicator, I joined Women in Communication in 2008. I felt very empowered by it. All started with me going to a lunch, and I felt very empowered by them. And so I wanted to know more. So by joining this group in 2008, this is the early day of social media where everyone was talking about social media, but didn't quite know. And we were the first chapter in our organization to embrace social media, where we had a fan page and we were on Twitter. We spent a lot of our time educating our members and followers and really empowering them by giving them the latest and the most informative way of what people are doing these days. So early this year, when I was reintroduced to Twitter, because I've been on Twitter for a while, on and off, but and then Twitter Spaces happened, because what happened with Twitter Spaces, it opened up my eyes to a lot of different things. And at the time, when I joined, all I saw was tons of men Twitter Spaces. I think I couldn't understand, about NFT art. I mean, I just was wondering, where are the women? And so along the way, I met some really incredible women. One of them is Lily Nicole, and also Brisa. Brisa's the one. And then Penelope, I sat in her Twitter Spaces too, and also October Mint. So what I wanted to bring was to raise awareness about the excitement of cryptocurrency, but about NFT art and how far women will be empowered, because the prediction, they're saying that women will take over this field. Because really, when I looked at NFT back in my early days, early this year, I didn't see any women. But now, if you log on and if you're involved in a Twitter space community, you will see all kind of Twitter spaces being hosted by women talking about NFT and empowering each other. So that gave me the idea of, like, you know what, let me go ahead and raise awareness some of these community leaders, as I call them, and also, someone that's new from a professional world and getting into NFT art and utilize NFT art so that they can help what's going on their offline projects they're working on. So today I want to go ahead and bring on my communication director, and she will introduce everyone on the panel. But Emily Tapper is my communication director and my dear friend. We are like what we're known as the social media ladies down in South Florida. We've done quite a bit promoting And with Emily, she is the founder of Muxie PR. And Emily, how are you today?
I'm doing well today. Not as crazy as usual, I guess. I'm here, so I'm excited about that, and I'm really excited to have this conversation because I absolutely love NFTs. So I'm
You
psyched
know,
about this.
you know what? You're the only one that I met in South Florida that understood NFT. And not too many people down here. And it's kind of exciting that we have women from all over the world.
I'm so excited about that, and I actually I have to say that my entry into the world of NFTs actually came from another female as well, and it was pretty exciting. She runs a company down in Miami called Vivid Reality, and unfortunately she wasn't able to be with us today, but she was the one who kind of launched me into the space. And then when I realized you were interested in it as well, this just seemed like such a perfect topic. And you have met so many cool women that I'm excited to introduce today because I've been looking at their profiles. And before I introduce everybody, I don't know if everyone else on listening in today are exactly familiar with what NFTs are. So very quickly, we'll define this as we move along as well. But I just want to mention that NFT actually stands for non-fungible token. And that usually, if you're not familiar with it, also sounds like a confusing term. But really what that means is it's a non-replaceable digital asset. And it's non-replaceable because of who created it. There's more that goes behind it. And I'm going to let some of our experts who are on the call today talk about that. But I know that that's something we definitely want to get into the definition of for anybody who's not familiar as well. So to start off today, because as Tanya said, there haven't been a lot of women in the space, but it's booming now as we come through 2020. And so Tanya, if you can start letting people speak as I start to introduce, that would be awesome. I'm going to start with Tori Bryant. Tori is
Hey.
hi. Tori is a multi-award-winning artist. She's an innovator. She has won a Science and Technology Academy Award. Tori, I'm going to let everybody tell a little bit about themselves in a moment, but we're super excited to have you today. We have also got Breezy Marina, her name at Crypto Breezy 7. She's a creative director, a producer, a stylist, and a content creator out of LA. She has her outspoken love of civil liberties and social justice, which I adore. And I'm can't wait to hear more about the art that you're creating. We also have hi there. Wait, no, say hi. Sorry, I didn't give it to you.
Hi. Thank you so much for the awesome introduction. I appreciate it, and I'm so happy to be here. And I'm looking forward to talk to everybody else on the panel as well. So it's so nice to meet you, Emily, and thank you, Tanya, for doing this for all women everywhere. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have today we have Penelope. Penelope is a multimedia NFT artist in the digital landscape. She is inspired by things in her world. She's driven by the knowledge, and this is, I believe, her quote, and I love this. She's driven by the knowledge that futurism looks different with each generation, and that the present occupies the space between fear and hope. And I loved that. So it's nice to have you here today, Penelope.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next up, we have Stacy Lindsay. Stacy's also, she's hashtag beyond 21. So if you don't see her name on there, she's a trained physician, and she's actually been practicing psychiatric medicine for about 6 years. She started in NFTs for therapeutic value, and the art inspired her. She started developing plans for a nonprofit, and she's actually hoping to use a portion of proceeds from her NFT sales to support and fund resources for the mental health community. So that's awesome, and we're very happy to have you here today.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here and look forward to the conversation.
Thank you. And last but definitely not least, we have Octomint. She mints octos, and I was looking those up today. I love it. So much fun. She just launched the book of Octomint. It's 12 comics starring Red the Giant Pacific Octopus. I'm a comic book geek myself. I dig it. New chapters drop every Sunday at 8 p.m. And I can't wait. I'm a fan of NFTs and mints that have a series. So I can't wait to talk to you about that today too. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So, I mean, really the very first question that I have for everybody is I want to know how you got started in the world of NFTs in general. Like, where did you begin and what led you into even just learning about NFTs and what you're now creating? And if you want to throw up a hand emoji, or I can just call on somebody, however, panels are so strange on these. But if we want to start, let's start with Tori. Tori, do you want to tell us how you got started and what led you to NFTs?
Sure. My name's, as you know, Tori. I've been in the space since I started on Twitter in February of this year. And I believe in end of March was my first posting of my work. And it's been a really interesting ride. The reason why I came here was, of course, technology and innovation. I come from a field of innovation, so I'm always interested in delving into that category. But honestly, I came into this world because I was, stuck in the middle of a pandemic, as I think we can all relate to, and needed to change the way I was living my life. Not that I don't enjoy the fields that I was in, but those fields of film and working at Nike and innovation are long hours, and I felt like I needed to change the direction of my focus from always traveling to work or traveling for work, and being more present here and alive is always a good approach for life, especially when there's something crazy going on in the world. And it just shifted my perspective. What I realized while I was off of work because of the pandemic was I missed creating, I missed innovating, and what I didn't miss was being led by the sneaker industry of all men, and being led by the film industry of all men, and I felt like in this time and space, I was empowered because of this space. I could do what I want. I could think the way I wanted. And it just flew. It quickly became something massive, and it made me realize that it was time for Tori to fly. It's time for Tori to do what she's always wanted to do, which was do art and create her own, ideas of what I wanted my future to look like for technology and innovation. So that's why I'm here.
I love that. That's so inspiring. I absolutely, I feel like a lot of people had that same moment during the pandemic, and I think it's great that you latched on it, you went for it, and carried on with it, which is so cool. Let's see. I would love to hear anybody else who, Brisa, go ahead, or Brisa. Tell me if I'm pronouncing your name correctly first.
You did it perfectly the first time. Yeah, it's Brisa or
Brisa.
Yeah, whichever is easier. My friends call me Breezy. And to kind of piggyback off of what Tori said, which again, it's nice to see all of these women up here. It's nice to see more women-led space. This is very relaxing to me. This is very calm. I'm very grateful to all the listeners down below for being here as well, because what I always like to say is they could have been anywhere else in the world, but they decided to be here with us and learn about this new technology with us. And this is so important to see, because this is how we lead mass adoption, and this is how we introduce what are NFTs, and we do that by sharing our stories about them. So a little bit about myself is I have been crowd sourcing, crowd fundraising my content since 2017. I was a little disappointed by the reaction to Hurricane Maria. And then immediately after, there was a massive earthquake in Mexico City. And I felt very helpless, like there wasn't a lot that I could do, but maybe sell my content and sell my pictures that seem to be very popular on Instagram. So once I figure out a way to set up a Patreon and kind of sell my content and get it out there, like so many of my other friends were doing, but not really for a cause, I figured out I'm going to sell my charities and it's all going to go to charity. And this was such a great concept because I had my own website. I was able to cut out the middleman of Patreon because they were having problems with their payouts. I set up my PayPal, and all of my content is like erotic art, burlesque video, very, very intense editing. It's all very cinematic, what I create. And I realized that there was a market for it. And when I started to learn about cryptocurrency, and I learned about the blockchain, and I learned about interplanetary file systems and what it really meant to encode your data into the metaverse, I realized that there's a lot of power to be made for the artists. And myself, particularly, I wanted to harness that energy in this very tech bro-centric industry. It's a very cis, male-dominated industry, technology. And the fact that women are up here having a panel discussion about it in general is just very motivating and refreshing, and I'd like to see more of it. And I'm very happy to be a part of the NFT community because it is putting the independence back into the creator, and it is helping creators take full control of their creative power. And I'm just really happy to see it. And with that, I will yield my time.
No, thank you so much. And you hit on some major points that I want to talk about in a little bit too, including how important it is to be able to encode your data. I think that's one of the most important parts about NFTs and something I really want to speak about today. I also love that you do burlesque. I've done it for about 20 years, and to me, it's one of the most empowering things, and another way to just be able to take control and such. But that's a whole nother, Twitter Spaces. So let's move on next, and let's hear from Penelope. Penelope, how did you come into this space?
Oh, well, I've been in advertising and art my whole life, in equal kind of measures. But what really drew me to it was I saw the future of ownership, and it made me question what ownership was. And it may sound funny, but when I heard about a bunch of computers all around the world that were verifying ownership of something and thus giving it a value, and then realizing how non-fungible assets were actually taken into that, I sort of saw the future. So I wanted to bring my art to it, but like Tori, the pandemic had a big part in what I was doing, and also I had things to say. The last 4 years before this year, a lot of stuff had happened that I needed to get out, so I wanted to put that into my art. So I came to the space about the same time as Tori, and a lot of us sort of started at that same time. And I already had a little bit of a background in crypto. I had invested in crypto a little bit, so I wasn't new to that side of things. The thing I was new to was building community for myself and not for clients. And that may sound like a very simple thing, that if you can do it for your clients, you can do it for yourself. But when you're actually putting your art out there, it's difficult. It's difficult because you're putting a part of your soul out there with it. So that's what brought me into the NFT space, and I continue to be excited about how both NFTs are growing and the marketplace is growing, but also what is happening with smart contracts and things like that also, because I think even if you don't know what it is now, soon when you buy a house, your purchase is going to be ratified on the blockchain.
You are 100% correct on that. So I own a PR firm, and I absolutely know what you mean by how hard it is to promote your own stuff versus the clients. It's always harder when you're that close to something. But I think the smart contracts are one of the most important parts about NFTs, because there is a way to move digital assets into real tangible items like cars and homes and all of that. And so I definitely think that's an incredible part. And I want to talk today about how those smart contracts work their way into art as well. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Let's go next to Stacy.
Hi.
Stacey, hi. Tell us how you came into the world of NFTs.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you guys, everyone who's already shared. I mean, just so much, you know, like wonderful information and empowerment. And I'm just really grateful to have kind of been picked up by this community. I feel like I was just kind of trying to find my own way through this whole thing. And Lily, speaking of, like, just, has just really helped me out a lot and encouraged me quite a bit. And so just really thankful for the community, first of all. And um, so I came into NFTs back in April, actually a little bit later than everyone else said. I actually started my very first Twitter in January of this year, and with the idea of beginning to share some of my experience and knowledge and trying to help educate people. And at that point, I think there's one post from January, and that was just kind of a pin. It was just there. And then I lost my sister in April, and my baby sister, my only sister, my only sibling. And that's been just a really huge catalyst for change in my life personally. And so someone else mentioned, I have been investing in crypto for a little while, been hearing about it for years from my fiance, and just sort of always saying, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll sort of look at that later. And I really started to look at it this year and earlier in the year, January, February, and started to really get interested in the crypto side of things. And then, as many others said one day, I just said, what is this NFT thing? What does this even mean? So I just started to look into it, and got really inspired, as you mentioned earlier in my introduction. Like, it was really like a therapeutic outlet for myself initially, and just a thing that I was able to do and create, and part of my healing process and grieving process. And so that happened, and then somewhere along the way, the light bulb went off. Like, hey, I mean, I have so much passion for mental health, and I just want to see people get the services and the help that they need. I'm inside the system for a long, long time now, and it's a very broken system, not just mental health, but medicine in general. So, speaking of a male-dominated field, medicine, that was definitely a process in itself. It's like you said, that's another NFT space. But you know, uh, yeah, I started like for therapeutic value, and then just kind of dawned on me, hey, I really love what I'm doing. Other people have talked about, just this catalyst for change in their lives, to change the direction of the way things are going, because I'm tired of working, 70, 80 hours a week. I have kids, and looking at that opportunity. So really just got excited about the possibility of being able to create art and help others at the same time.
I think that's an amazing mission. I think blending art and mental health is something that's always important overall. And condolences, by the way, on your sister. I'm so sorry to hear about that. But I do think that what you're putting forth with your art is really impactful and important. And we're really happy to have you here today. And finally, again, we're going to bring you first to the next round. So get ready, Octomint, which I believe your real name is actually Lily, but we can call you whichever you prefer. But hi, welcome.
Hey, no, thank you so much for having me. Actually, my real name's Kate.
Kate.
Yeah,
Kate,
no
sorry.
problem. Okay. I don't tell people, but it's all right if all the how many 50 strangers are here? No, it's okay. What's up, everybody? I am how did I get into NFTs? Basically, there were three things that had to happen in order for me to get into it at the level that I am. The first one was that I had been writing it. I'm an academic, and I have a PhD, and my specialty is literature, and I teach at a college. And I had written my dissertation on legacy and how it's been different in the modern world, how conceptions of literary legacy have been different, and why, what technological changes have happened to precipitate that. So when I understood for what NFTs were, for like a variety of super nerdy reasons, I sort of felt like I had to make a choice to either continue to write about, a modern world, legacy in the modern world that I don't really like that invested in anyway, or to go and figure it out in the next one and do it and apply the things that I know. So it's sort of, I felt compelled to do it for that reason, like philosophically. And then also I happen to make already like, I make these octos, right? And they're fairly like, you know, if you see what I do, like it's definitely an NFT art thing. Like you're not going to see it in a traditional, you know, gallery or whatever. Probably. So it was already kind of like what was happening. So I had, you know, stuff to work with. And then the third thing was that there's a bunch of cuts happening at my job and stuff because of COVID and other things, and we were already having enrollment problems. And so they basically, I lost my summer position, and they like have taken money from me and given me more work, and it just is bad. So I really needed. So at some point in June, I like lost the job like 2 days before I was supposed to start it. They even paid me for it. I had to pay them back. It was bullshit. Anyway, uh, so uh, so I needed the money like bad, bad. And so because I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't, you know, I wouldn't have done it to this level. I would have, you know, screwed off or done my scholarship or done whatever. But I was like, well, this is, you know, it's too late to look for a part-time job because I got to work again. And it was a whole mess. Anyway, the point is that, yeah, it basically made it so that I had to do it full time and I had to be super serious about it. And because of that, like, I'm still in it now, even though I'm back to regular work and stuff. And I really like it. And that's another thing is I wouldn't have done, I guess that's the fourth thing. I wouldn't have done any of it if I didn't enjoy it all. So there you go.
Emily, I hope the Twitter space is not giving you problem because I can see your blue dot. You might have to, let's see. Oh no. Oh, no. Here we go. Let me text her. Yeah, it's like you know, you want to know the issue with it today. Let's see. So Emily, if you can hear us, go ahead and leave the space. Oh, she did. Let me. So I didn't get the questions that she wanted to ask you guys. So she's gonna be right back. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up as my VP also that was waiting. There she is, and add as a speaker. There we go. There we go. I see you now,
I'm back.
Emily.
Hi. Sorry. No, Twitter Spaces just kicked me out, but I am back, and hopefully everyone can hear me now. Sorry about that.
You sound great.
Perfect. All right. So, back to where we were. My next question then, after what made everybody pursue NFT art, is I want to know how, number one, if it's, well, actually, all right. So again, I don't know how versed everybody on the call or everybody on the Twitter Spaces is in the NFT world. So would somebody want to speak to how you would get started or how you got started? How did you mint your first NFT? And I think that's an important thing to speak on, because I don't even know if everybody here knows that there's different marketplaces and such that you can sell your NFTs. So I think, again, the easiest way is if you can use the emojis and put a hand up. One of our speakers who would be interested in speaking about how they first got started. So Octomint, tell us about that.
Yeah. So I just, like, if I were to distill it to the few things I wish I had known or whatever, I mean, so basically what I did was I went on YouTube and I looked up a bunch of videos about it and I watched them. And I read some articles or whatever, and I found Rarible, and I really used it because it was the first one I found, and it was like the easiest to use in a lot of ways. And so I minted a few things on there, and then I learned about OpenSea, and I wish I had really started there, and also Hick at Nunk. But yeah, I think it's basically Tori and these other people up here be better to speak to like more about the process or whatever. But you do have a lot of options. It can be overwhelming, and so my big thing is you'll probably see OpenSea if you spend enough time around here, and it's a good place to start because they have lazy minting. They don't you don't have to pay for gas to create your NFTs.
All right. So let's also, if we can define what gas and minting and all of that is as well. No, that's okay. Because again, I think a lot of us who have been in the space, we don't realize, that so many terms. All right. So I see a lot of hands up. So let's go ahead. Penelope, if you want to speak to that.
Sure. So, firstly, you buy crypto from a crypto exchange, and this is how I did it. And I had to decide on which platform I wanted to mint. And Foundation had just happened at that time. And I really wanted to be part of that because it was an invite only, and you got invited by other members. And so it was making you make community right from the get-go. So I really wanted to be part of that. So I set up a wallet. Now, what a wallet is where we take our cryptocurrency and we put it into a wallet where it can be spent in places that accept cryptocurrencies. So then I set up my Foundation account and connected it. And what we mean by connecting is on most of the NFT marketplaces, there's a connect button. It asks you what wallet you're using, you tell it, and it connects your wallet and your account together. So in April, I minted my first piece, and Tori actually bought it from me. So hopefully that sort of talks to the technical sort of side of it.
That was awesome. That was an amazing explanation. Yes. That's great. And then Tori, you bought one of Penelope's pieces. Were you part of the Foundation community, or how did you find that?
Yeah, I too was part of the Foundation community. And so we've talked about technical, we've talked about platforms a little bit. Let me tell you about the feelings that go behind this process. When I started, I was scared. Holy moly, like all of this new technology, and I'm in technology. So I think it's important to kind of just acknowledge that it's scary. And I had my best friend who lives in Connecticut, like start researching NFTs with me. So I'm like, okay, what do you think this means? Okay, what do you think that means? And I actually got into NFTs through Amrit, who is also a toy avatar creator, super nice guy. And he sent me a couple of posts to kind of get me involved in how the system went. And it was really about, I started on Foundation, and I started on Foundation because it was easy. Because I had gone on OpenSea, I had gone on Rarible, I had gone but I was so new to all of this lingo and so new to everything. And I had such a chaotic life that me sitting down with a like 2.5-year-old at that point and trying to read something and actually make sense of it with lack of sleep was like ridiculous. But Foundation was super easy. It was like literally upload your image, give it a description, mint. Nothing else. Not how much royalty you do. Like, wait, what's royalty you get? Like it was there's so many details to OpenSea and to Rarible, which were very confusing for me at the beginning. I can do it now because I've kind of like gotten into the system and now I understand how things go. But for the very beginning, that is one of the reasons I liked how it looked. I liked the design, and I liked the fact that somebody had to choose me. And what it did was it forced me to, because I also was signing in on Twitter for the first time ever, it forced me to like talk to the community, get to know people, which I didn't know either. I didn't know how to like create a community for myself. I felt like I was in middle school. Like there were like little cliques or people talking, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so forcing me, because I couldn't just jump on, made me get to know my community better. And when finally someone said, hey, you're a mom, you're a hard worker, like, I'm going to give you foundation invite. It felt grounded. I felt like I had somebody that could support me, that could answer questions because they gave it to me. So I DM'd them and I connected with them. And I feel like that's a really important part. You cannot do this alone. And that's how I felt when I started. But when I connected with the community first, and then I got my invite, and then I knew I had somebody to ask questions to and that could support me because they decided that I was worthy of this, made me feel like I wasn't alone. So that's kind of my experience.
I love that. And I think the community overall, I mean, in anything is so important, but especially coming into something so new and, as it was said, so frightening with new technology and putting your art out there anyways is just a frightening thing. And Breezy, I see your hand is up there too. And I would love to hear, where you got, what marketplace you got started on and where, if that's changed or if you're selling in the same space now.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of feelings about what everybody talked about. And one thing I think is important is to do your own research and definitely go on YouTube, definitely educate yourself and vet your influencers and vet your instructors. You always want to know, who's who. You want to make sure you really see what the project is. And that's for cryptocurrency or NFTs in general. Like for me, I started in cryptocurrency before I got into NFTs, but I was a content creator before I even knew what cryptocurrency was. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm already an artist and I already sell my content. How can I do that more efficiently and safely? And it's great that we're all talking about foundation, and it is a great community, and it is also a double-edged sword because it is by invite only. And whereas OpenSea, anybody can go up there and join. With Foundation, only certain people can get invited to Foundation. And you'll see people feel like they're not a part of the cool kid clique, kind of like what Tori mentioned, because they're not in Foundation yet. And people sometimes will also use their invites as ways to promote more people's art and then give their invite to someone else, which is awesome and great to see. It's also something that I realized I have to be careful who I give my invite to, because not everybody can afford to mint $120, $200 every single time they want to post something on Foundation. And that was something that I had to learn through experience. And I think that's why a lot of people go to OpenSea, because it is cheaper to mint there. And these were just things that I had to learn from experience, because everybody was like, oh yeah, Foundation's so great, so great. But nobody was really talking about how expensive it is every single time you have to mint on Foundation. It's almost like the price you have to pay to be able to play, sort of thing. And I wish more people would discuss that openly and freely, because now I have to really think about, okay, am I giving a financial burden to somebody if I give them this invite here or not? And I never thought about that before until I got involved in it. And I also come from a mental health and environmental health advocacy. So for me to get into cryptocurrency in general and NFTs, I had to do a lot of soul searching. So once I learned about proof of stake cryptocurrency and Tezos and Hicketnook, I was like, okay, cool. What I really need to do is become a collector first and realize what it is to set up a wallet, support different artists that I like, with the cryptocurrency that I like, and then be able to publish my own once I know what it means to support others. Because creating that community, I think, is a lot of people don't take it as seriously as they should. They think that their art is so good it will just sell itself. But you'll see a lot of people's art out there that, not to judge or whatever, but their community is so much stronger that their art will always sell no matter what they put out. And that was really something from a psychological point to see that sometimes there is more strength in the community than even the art. And I apologize that my gardeners outside are rocking and rolling and getting the job done. So I'm going to go back to mute. But yeah, there's a lot to take in there with that. And I started to answer the question. I started on Foundation and on OpenSea, and I'm also on Hicketnook as well. And all of those are great platforms for a multitude of different reasons, as everybody has mentioned.
And I think it's great that you've mentioned a few and for different reasons, because you're right. I also don't know if a lot of people know that there is a cost to mint an NFT. So that does change depending on the marketplace. And I think that's a really important part. Again, coming from the public relations side of things, your community is always more important than your product or your service or anything else that you're putting out. And that's across the board in anything, in NFTs or outside of that. And so it's really important, no matter what platform you decide to mint on or what marketplace you decide to use, that you're also promoting your artwork on Instagram and on other platforms and really pushing it out there in other places and building a community as well. Because art does not just, nothing sells itself, but art does not just sell itself. So there is that. Now, my next question, as we're talking about women in NFT art, the question is, what do you think is the reason that women are finding such a stronghold in the NFT world? Because technology overall has always been very male dominated, but we are seeing a lot of women up and coming in the NFT space, and we're seeing women really and truly grasp onto this type of art and start to push. I mean, I'm not negating. I see we got a lot of men in the room, and I'm not negating what men are putting out, but I'm seeing a lot of communities of women coming together, particularly towards the middle and end of this year. So I want to talk about what everybody thinks makes women so strong in this realm. And go ahead, Breezy. We'll go to you.
Yes. Since we're talking about tech and you mentioned an important thing about communities and Instagram, what happens if those platforms go down tomorrow? So it's very important to make sure you build all of your different platforms, because I think a lot of people rely on Twitter more than any other platform. And that's great and that's good, but don't forget that there are other platforms, Reddit, Instagram, like you mentioned. I've been neglecting my Pinterest. There's a lot of things that there are different platforms out there that if one of them goes down tomorrow for whatever reason, it's like, there goes your community. So you always want to make sure that you are leaving your footprint on multiple different platforms and not just here.
Yes. I want to jump in
And
real quick, and I'm just going to say this too, I'm going to step on your toes on that, but I'm going to throw it out there and just say email marketing. Everybody should own their own email lists and own your content, because if you don't have your own website and your own email list, then what she just said is correct. If all of those sites went down tomorrow, you lose your entire audience without owning your own email list and your own contact information. So make sure you build that up as well.
yes, thank you. That's so well said. I'm gonna try to go to the quietest room in my house because I can just hear my ears rocking and rolling right now, and I'm so happy that they're here. I think we are coming to the end of a very patriarchal society. We're coming to the end of an era. I think women are being embraced now more than ever. I think we have Gen Z to thank for that. I think we realized from our baby boomer parents that they were not allowed to express themselves or show their feelings or be artistic or be artists, period. And now we are able to show people are paying off their student debt, paying for houses, paying for cars with NFTs, with their content, with their YouTube channel, So I think there's a lot to be said that we are accepting our feminine side now. We are accepting femininity. And part of that is our artistic sides and talking about our feelings and what we have. And I think women are doing so well in that because women are feeling more empowered with technology because of spaces like this where we're able to talk about it freely and there are no stupid questions. And we're able to share our insight and feel like we can do this together. And I think that there's a lot to be said about finding your right communities, because sometimes there are communities that can be cliquey within themselves. So it's always good to make sure you try to stand on both sides and be neutral and hear all sides. And one of the reasons why I got into cryptocurrency Twitter in May of this year was because of men's mental health. I saw it was a male dominated industry and I saw men really kind of getting obsessive over it. And I see Dr. A down in the audience. He's like one of the first people that I kind of reached out to and was like, yeah, men need help with this. It's a lot. And I think women can kind of take charge and take the lead and kind of show like, hey, you don't have to be as obsessed over this. You can kind of see how we grow and we could grow together. And I think that that's really what's helping women at the forefront. And having men as allies in general helps everyone. Men's voices, for some reason, can reach more men and get farther than ours. So if we can have more men as allies, then we can bring on more men on board that are comfortable talking about their feelings and being expressive and becoming NFT artists. And at the end of the day, that's really what we want. We want mass adoption. We want everybody on board. We want financial independence for everyone. So yeah, with that, I'll yield my time.
I love it. We have to do a feminism Twitter Spaces after this too. Yeah, I'm so into all of this. So we have lots of conversations to have. I see we got some other hands that are up, so I'm going to hop over to Tori. Tori, what are your thoughts on how women are so strong in this space?
You know, it's an interesting question because I would actually say that we're not strong enough yet. I feel like though we are pushing the boundaries and getting to be seen and to be known, we are still not in you know, that 50-50 category where we're at Christie's like everybody else. Like it's mostly a man dominated situation where I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to get comfortable thinking that we're like woohoo, women are doing great in this space. The women that are plowing through are the women that are working a lot of hours, which of course is what is required for anyone. But we are pushing every day. And the difference between my job in the real, quote unquote, the real world and my job in the Twitter space is that I own ownership. I have ownership. I am strong. I will not be, you know, there will not be a thumb put on my head. I'm here to be successful and to make change. And part of the change that I'm offering and that I really want to continue pushing and encouraging is all my foundation invites that I get, all of the things that I have that come to me, I give to women and people of color and LGBTQ kids. Those are really needed. There are still, the numbers are still low. If I was to say in my collection how many people were women and how many people were men, I can easily say I'm 50%. But if you ask, you know, most other people, because there's so many in this space, the women percentage of being collected is so low. And so we are making change. We are pushing ourselves into this space, but we are not where we need to be. And I want to just say that loud and clear, that we still need the support. We need more support. We need women supporting women. We need men supporting women. And we need to get women in the eyes of those larger marketplaces like Super Rare. We need to get women at Christie's. We need to get women in those spaces, which we are not. We are not in those spaces enough. Our percentages are still low. That's my thought.
All right, so I love that. So then my next question, and I will, Optimint and Penelope, I'm coming to y'all, and we can talk about this, but I also want to know then, how do we all band together? What do we do to bring women into these spaces more often? You know, again, coming from the PR side, it comes down to marketing and having that voice and putting our voices together. And, you know, I feel like there's a way that can be a collaborative effort as well.
Are you asking me directly, or you want hands up? Hands up?
Hands up, and you tell me.
Well, I mean, the first thing that I think of, because it is a big question, because there are some people and some individuals that say all the time, which totally makes sense, and it's like it's practical and reasonable to say, well, I pick the person who's most talented, right? Or I pick the people that come to me and I see their skills and so on. And absolutely, that's fair. But often women don't get to the level of superior of that like supervisor role, or don't get to the level of art direction or creative direction because they are held back. And so in those circumstances, we have to allow women to get to those roles. And sometimes that means you have to get a woman that doesn't have that experience, but you see the talent and the skill that they hold, because they've never had the opportunity to get to those roles. So when they're hiring for those roles, they're like, oh, well, all I see are men in front of me because they all are qualified. The women aren't there because they've never had the opportunity to get there. There are less of us. So it's up to, like they talk about, you know, when there's a hole in a fence and the men can look through it because it's at their level, you have to get a stool for a woman to step up and see their hole. Like, you have to give these opportunities because we are so far behind already that we have to open up opportunities for women that aren't like a no-brainer. It's like, oh, like, it's like hiring people of color. You have to look for those people. Those people, they're not going to just apply for a job where they know their opportunities are less and far and few between. We have to go out and we have to look. We have to look.
That's a great answer, and 100% correct. I mean, that's definitely, we do. You have to keep the eyes open and offer opportunities where they stand, oftentimes to the people who may not be the first ones right in front of your eyes, are the ones with the most experience, but as you said, the most talented as well. They're out there and aren't stepping up just yet. And now I don't mean to have ignored the hands that are up, so let's go ahead to Octomint.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I would second a lot of what's been said. And so I'll add something kind of different because it's something I think about, but I wouldn't want to. But yeah, I think everything that's been said is like spot on. So, you know, like if I had to take a guess, I feel like the most obvious reason women would be more like we'd see more of them in the NFT space is that all over the world, women make less money than men, and they also have greater need for it. Usually they need to take care of family or something like this. So there's a lot of pressure to supplement your income. And I think, I mean, just in practical terms, I think that would tend to drive women toward it because you can do it from the home too. And it sometimes involves skills or it can involve skills that women have been traditionally pushed towards in some cultures, like art making and stuff. So I think that I mean, I would feel like those have to be factors, and I do see signs of that. But what I find interesting, I think very interesting, is that the space in a lot of ways is still pretty dominated by upper middle class and middle class voices, often American or Western, often white, but not always. And I think the reason for that is probably like those people have a lot more time and access, you know, maybe perhaps to the internet or to whatever, and can have a lot of presence. But I think it ends up, my sense of it is that it maybe ends up sometimes feeling like there's like a certain large dominating sector of the culture that is here just like for other reasons than, you know, sort of surviving or whatever. And I think it's amazing because all those people are pumping money like all over the place. They're putting crypto everywhere. They're putting it into charities. They're putting it in their families. They're putting it into like friends. They're putting it where it needs to go. And it's brilliant. And I think the only thing is that I like in terms of opening it up for people, since you asked, like if I had to underscore one thing, it would be like, um, there's an embarrassed but large population of people who just need them, like just really need to supplement their incomes, who are really struggling, and they're doing art for the right reasons too. It's not like that. It's just what it is. And so I think if, you know, I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to sort of talk about it in a more bifurcated way. If there's a way to be like, you know, maybe focus on sort of the healing and the self-nurturing women can do in this space, you know, is one way to think about it. Not that I don't want to say like community is amazing and stuff, but just maybe for the sake of developing a discourse that might be more comfortable for people who, you know, really do have to take care of themselves, right? To sort of be like, that's what it's for. It's for taking care, you know, it's for you take care of your family and your, you know, the people around you, and like healing through your art and stuff. Yeah. So those are my thoughts.
Absolutely. I think that's a phenomenal point to have made. And I think you also talk about a very distinct line between people who are doing art and NFTs on the financial side versus people doing art and NFTs for other reasons. And there's, you know, this mixed market right now. I don't want to jump into too many things before I go to Penelope, because I know your hand's been up for a while. So I'm going to go ahead over to you.
Thanks. Okay, here we go. Let's face the facts. Women are not equal in this space in any way, shape, or form. Octo, Mint, and I hold a space once a week normally, for NFT Women, we call it. And we hear time and time again from women all over the world how they don't get to speak, or they get spoken over, or they get pushed down. And we hear about sales being lower for women. We hear about women feeling pushed out a lot of the time. And if you are seeing a strength in women, it's because we are banding together to form a community within the community. And we are becoming stronger because of it. But that's because we're doing what we're good at, which is creating community among each other and supporting each other. I think Spaces has really changed that. And I think before Spaces really took hold, women were having even more of a job trying to be heard and be seen in this space. So if you were seeing, I mean, let's just look at what's happening in Afghanistan at the moment. And okay, that's an extreme version, but women's voices are always being put back, not listened to, not taken as seriously as men. And I think that, as Brisa was saying, that we are seeing an end of an era in patriarchy, but it's going to go down fighting. And I'm not anti-men. I was doing a deep dive into my analytics today on Twitter, and most of my followers are men, in actual fact. I think that speaks more to just the sheer amount of people involved in the space than it does to anything else, because most of the community that I talk to on a daily basis are women. But I think we need to do a lot of work, and I think we need to do a lot of uplifting until women are equal in the space. And what it tends to be is a lot of middle class, upper middle class white men who are dominating the space and have the disproportionately loud voices at the moment.
I would agree with you there. I mean, there's no disagreeing in that. I think it is phenomenal that Spaces has led to the opportunity for women to come together and to be able to build up, the start of this community and really start to get voices heard. I've also, I found it really interesting because I've read a lot of articles recently, particularly leading into this talk today, about feminism and NFTs. And there's a lot of buzz in the media overall about how NFTs really are carving out this space for women to do exactly what you're all doing on Twitter Spaces. And I think that's really awesome. I think it's great hearing everybody come together. And so I want to keep talking about this side of things, but I also want to jump into a few questions about what you can, maybe your top number one tip or a lesson that you've learned in the space that you can pass along to maybe give some expertise to the people listening in today. As either as a woman coming into the space, for women coming into their first time, or women who are already minting NFTs and looking to build her community, or let's say raise her voice, or use her art to help to heal herself, whatever the goal of that art might be. I would love for everybody to share something that they've learned as being, coming into the NFT realm over the last year. And let's start with Tori.
Yeah. I think I say this as I scream this to the tops of all the hills that I don't climb. I really believe in community. I believe I wouldn't be here where I am right now if that wasn't part of this process. And you really have, people need to know who you are. And it's the most valuable thing I feel like that I've learned from this space is you have to continue talking to people. You have to continue being real with people. If you are who you are in real life, these individuals in this space are going to be your best friends. I mean, I've met all of I have phone numbers, we text, we call. I've never met them, and I feel like I'm doing some online dating, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And if you build your community, you cannot fail in the space, because you will get the support you need, because they're going to get the message out too. And if they believe you, their friends are going to believe you, and their friends are going to believe in you. So that's the one thing I recommend, is it's all about community. Forget the art. We're all talented. We all have skills. And I mean, then you have the marketing side, but community is first.
Thank you. And I see a hand up from Breezy.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, didn't Beyond get rugged? Like, is she in the room? Is she coming back?
Yeah, I just DM her. I don't know. I think she could. I think her call should be right back. But I want to let everyone know that that's requesting. We will open up the mic after Emily finished the Q&A with all the panelists, and then we're going to open up mic for everyone else.
Yep, and I actually have been noticing we have quite a few requested, so I'm going to open up questions and answers. Pretty much we can open that now, since we have about an hour left. I feel like there's probably a lot people want to know and ask about. I'm going to start with, let's see, Georgia. I see you've been, there we go. I just approved Georgia. I know you've been waiting for a bit.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi guys. I kind of just jumped on the space like 20 minutes ago, but I'll let you keep adding everybody before before I start talking. So that way I don't like distract anything.
Tanya, I think we've got everybody in now.
Yes, I approved everybody, so we're ready to go.
Okay, great. All right. So again, like with the speakers, if somebody has a question and you want to go ahead and put up a hand emoji, and we can jump from there.
Did you want us to answer though? Because I think Tori answered, and I was just making sure Beyond was
Oh,
on
wait,
the panel.
I'm sorry. I would love for you guys to. Absolutely. Yes.
Do you want to repeat the question just to kind of reset the room then?
Yes, absolutely. So the question was something that you've learned, whether that's, something that you've learned being in the NFT space that you could pass along to everybody listening today.
I mean, I can go if that's okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so something I've learned is not all marketplaces are equal, and what works for somebody else may be not what works for you. I have tested out a lot of the marketplaces. I'm on quite a few of them. And being on different marketplaces allows you the opportunity to try different styles on different marketplaces also. But Foundation doesn't work very good for me, but OpenSea works absolutely great for me, and Known Origin works really well for me. And I keep pieces on those other marketplaces anyway, but that's where I put my effort in, because to be honest, that's where the marketplaces are supporting me also. I'm getting put on their front pages. I'm getting highlighted in their social media. So find out which marketplaces you're going to gel with. And just because it doesn't work on the first one you try, that doesn't mean that your work's not going to sell. It just may be that another marketplace suits you a lot better.
Thank you. That's great advice. And let's go next over to Breezy, because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off before, and I'd love to hear your advice as well.
Yeah, no problem. No, that's great advice, Penelope, and also great advice from Tori. I think it's all been really good advice so far. I think the one thing that I would highlight or focus on is focus on your mental health and focus on your sense of self. I think that cryptocurrency in general is already very obsessive and borderline gambling. And to be in these spaces 24/7, 365, there's a lot of fear of missing out. And so you definitely want to take care of yourself first and foremost and make sure that you are healthy inside and out, because it's going to show up in your art. And there is a lot of obsessive behaviors where people feel that if their art doesn't sell, there is no value in them as people. And there has to be some sort of detachment from that. You have to create your art because you want to create your art, not because you're going to get sales. And I wish more people said that first, because it is very obsessive, almost like a drug like feeling when you make your first sale. And when you don't get that drug or get that high again, you feel like you're chasing or like you have no worth. And it's important that you just stay true to yourself and have a strong sense of self first. Otherwise, if there is no foundation, everything else is going to crumble. So I wish more people knew that, or took care of themselves first, and then came from a place of love when they are creating at the end of the day. And also, yeah, get to know your markets, because not all markets are going to be as friendly to burlesque or nudity or erotic art as they would be in different marketplaces. So definitely, and I see we have Vulva's Love up here, so definitely we could speak on that, because I love their project and everything that they're doing as well. So I will yield my time now.
Thank you. And we're going to get Vulvas, we'll get to you in just a moment. I want to jump over to Octomint to go ahead and answer the question of something that you have learned in the NFT industry as well.
Yeah, I think it's actually a pretty small thing, because Brisa did a really nice job like distilling I think what's really important about mental health. So I would just piggyback on it and say, like, I think what I didn't know, although I felt like I should have, people have said it to me my whole life, and like I've, sort of know it. I don't know, I've heard it, but I didn't really internalize it, is that people mostly, they respond to art that that resonates with them, that comes from a real honest place. And I think you have to be kind of vulnerable or something to do that, or at least, like, I think Brisa probably had it more right, like in a mentally healthy space where you can express yourself, basically. So it is directly like important to your success, basically, like your immediate success, I guess.
Thank you. That's an extremely important point to, remember throughout anything that you're doing really in life, whether it's art and NFTs or otherwise, is self-care first and mental health first, because it's the most important. It's the foundation for everything else. Now I'd love to jump. I've seen a few hands up, and so let's go ahead and go to well, let's go to Vulva's Land, because I know we were just talking about burlesque and sexuality on NFTs, and let me see if I can. There we go.
I think Chisweed Art had their hand up before Vulvas. I'm sorry to be that person, but I feel like Chisweed had their hand up, and then we'll go to Vulvas Land.
Sure.
That is okay.
Yeah, no, that's
and
I'm trying to see everybody's hands here. So yes, let's.
I hate to be that person that's like, no, we have to let Cheeseweed Art first, because they had their hand up. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let me just let's get you off mute there.
Hello.
There we go.
How's everyone?
Hi.
I just kind
Great,
of wanted to hit on the whole mental health and everything. What I've learned from NFTs is that I can heal from art. I went through a very abusive past through pretty much my childhood and up. So art in itself has helped me heal from that and move from that. And actually, I've become successful because of that. So I think that art is definitely, especially NFTs, is a great area to try and do something different, express yourself. And also, like we've all discussed here, heal from things that have, damaged us in the past or anything like that. But I feel like become whole, become who you're really supposed to be. And I just feel like NFTs have just totally changed my life and totally appreciative. And it's great to see an actual panel for women in NFTs. I don't see it very often, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you joined us today. And I think, again, you touch on such an important part or like point of the healing aspects of all of this and how important that is. It helps you process so much from life. And I think that's what makes art so important. All right. So
I knew when I saw that Albert Einstein banner, I was like, I gotta hear what his art has to say, because I know she's gonna be on point with it. So yes, thank you for coming up to.
awesome. And let's see who Georgia, I believe, actually had a hand up before Vulva's Land. So let's go to Georgia.
Maybe I don't know if Volva's Land. If you did have it up before me, please feel free to go ahead because I don't know.
No, you can go ahead. No problem. I can wait.
Okay. I think mine kind of like reiterates a little bit kind of what you guys were discussing earlier, but I'm still pretty new too. Like I'm kind of like maybe a month into this. So hi, a newbie here. But I think so far what I've learned is to don't be afraid to be completely vulnerable and to just raise your hand and speak up like any thought that you might have. Because also to kind of go back to what you guys were saying earlier, which I loved that discussion, like I I'm not somebody who like gets that intimidated, but being like totally honest, these spaces can be intimidating when all of the guys are kind of like have their frat boy mentality, like bro. And don't get me wrong, like that's great, like you do you, right? But when you do go up there and you speak and it is all of the frat guys, like oh not frat guys, but you know what I mean, when they're all up there, like your points kind of get invalidated and you kind of feel like, oh, well, shit. Like, I thought that was a good point, but I guess like they didn't think that. And you kind of feel a little bit like discouraged to keep talking. I don't know. Those are things that I've experienced like this past month in these spaces. I love spaces like this because I feel comfortable to come on stage and like all of you guys are so cool. And like I'm literally going through and like following everybody. But I think what I'm learning, because I didn't even realize this was this big of an issue until I was in these spaces, like we can't be afraid to speak up and we can't be afraid to just say whatever's on our mind because like it is true, you guys are right, like unfortunately like it is still kind of like a guy leading space and women need to be heard and like we still have so much we need to do. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not like have all the answers, but I have noticed that just by telling myself, fuck it, Georgia, be vulnerable, just go up there, raise your hand, do whatever. It has allowed me to kind of be a little bit more confident in the little frat boy spaces. That's all.
Yes, I love it. Use that voice all the time, as much as possible, because that's how we're going to all come together and bring women up at least equal, if not beyond equality in this space. So let's go now to Vulva's Land because I feel like I've made you wait far too long. And thank you so much for your patience. And we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I have time, and also like thanks for mentioning me earlier. Yeah, so it's actually perfect that I speak after Georgia because I actually want to embrace what she was saying. Um, one of the other day I joined some of the like quote like fred boy energy spaces unquote. Yeah, and then I start talking about some female projects going on at the moment, and and they actually like kind of like they act like they were listening to me and they care about what I was saying, and like basically they let me like rambling in that room for like half an hour, and I got surprised because I thought I wouldn't be listened by them because like the kind of energy and the vibe is like really masculine, and I thought that I wasn't gonna be listened. And then I kind of feel like, well, there was like so many times where I didn't speak up or I didn't speak on that was in my head because I think like the room is like kind of man dominated and they wouldn't like to listen to what I was saying and they wouldn't care about my perspective. Um, yeah, but actually I think like like sometimes I feel like I didn't come from like a good place like or a better place. I come from Vietnam, and also like like the space have like English speaker dominant also, and I come from Vietnam. Like English is not my first language, and then secondly, I'm a woman. I was like doing NFT as a female artist, and from that, I kind of feel like if I go to some room where on the panels, on the speaker panels, there are a lot of men, I feel like I'm not listened enough. But I feel like, yeah, we should get rid of that feeling. Like we should, like we should feel like equally listened as other people. And I think it would help if we just like, walk in the room and think that we also own the space, not just, like we're going to some people, like we being on some people territory or something like that. And yeah, we also have this discussion, like when I entered the room, you guys were talking about if we as a woman community in the NFT space, are we strong enough, or are we still have to strive, and are we still have to, like try more? I kind of feel like if we are in a position where we feel like we're gonna be listened and we're gonna be, like able to speak up what was in our mind, then it's gonna be a time where we actually, like being equal. But of course, there's gonna be a lot of spaces where we walked in and we actually feel like it's kind of intimidating, and we actually feel like, like people don't have time for us. I think if we still have that kind of feeling, then we are not there yet. Like, of course, a lot of room are really supportive, and I also, feel like I can actually be myself more if I join the room where, like, there are women, or there are, spaces that's especially for women, for female artists, and that is a good thing. But also I would love to have that feeling like everywhere I go, like not just something exclusive for female artists. Or yeah, so that was what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think you touched on so many important parts and points there. And I think for me, the thing that stands out the most, and I'd love to hear if anybody else wants to speak on this as well, I think a lot of the times we also do stand in our own way, in a sense, with a feeling of like that imposter syndrome, where you get it into your own head that maybe they don't want to hear what we have to say, or people don't think our art is good enough, or they don't have the time or the space for us, and we have to kind of cast that fear aside and let go of the intimidation and say, I'm going to own what I'm going to say, and I'm going to feel like it's good enough. And you know what, even if it's not, screw it. Like I said, it at least, put it out there and, go from there. And I think that's a really big step in women coming into their own in this overall, and in any scenario, is really just what you just said, like just stepping up and saying it. So I have some more questions on my list, but I'd love if anybody else has any questions, because we have about a half an hour left on the spaces tonight. And if not, we're gonna, let's see. All right, so I'm going to jump into another question that I had. I would love for everybody to, since we're talking about women supporting women, let's talk about some of your famous, your favorite female artists in the NFT space. Who are some women that you'd like to shout out today? Somebody that you've seen that you really love their art. I see a hand up from Chrissy. Chrissy.
Hi, how are y'all doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty, I think. It's always, I never know. But for me, my favorite, I'll speak to the question you asked, my favorite NFT artist in the space, favorite women in the space, and and we are eternal. Hear me, I have some problems working.
If you want to
Be
come,
my
if you want to
top
leave and
favorite.
come back in,
Yep.
Chris, you should leave and come back in. You're just breaking up a little bit.
We're gonna go ahead and if like Tanya said, if you just want to pop on. Oh, there we go. We see you're reconnecting. While she's Chris is reconnecting, let's go ahead to Tori. I see your hand is up there.
Oh my God, there are so many talented artists, so many women that I definitely, and it's not just the talented women, it's the strong women that are out there. Like I see her in the audience, Anaconda, and also Kamachi's. Like these women are going to change history. Elk Sami is out there. These women are going to lead the next generation. Michelle Thompson, award-winning from New York Times. She is going to change platforms. We have a Gabriella, oh God, I'm blanking on her last name, going to change platforms, going to change history. These women aren't just good artists, aren't just talents. These women are going to make shit happen. And I happen to own a lot of their Genesis pieces. If not now, I will be owning them. So they're super talented. I'm so honored to know them. I have them in my DM. I talk to them often. They support me when I am low. I support them when they are struggling. That we support each other. Penelope, I have her Genesis. We are, watch out, ladies. Like, right? We got this in the bag. I can't wait to see the future of this group of women. But that's just a very small amount of artists. Again, of course, Judy Lindsay, who's, one of my best friends in this space, who's like a baller artist. And can't be forgotten. She bounces right in my head. She's like, don't you dare fucking forget me. I'm like, I'm sorry. Super talented team, super talented.
That's awesome. I love how many amazing women are in this group right at this moment, right now, listening into this space. That's awesome. And I love it. It's going to change the world. And that's so cool. Does anybody else have another woman they'd like to shout out, or an artist overall that let's keep it, female presenting artists that we'd like to shout out for today for women in NFT art, or I can move on to another question.
Yeah, I want to shout out some
Yeah,
people.
shout them out, of course. Yes, I was looking for hands. Go for it. Shout them out. I want to hear them all.
I love this opportunity because I think Georgia touched on an important point that it's not easy to come up in these spaces and speak when you're in a male-dominated room. So to have an opportunity right now to shout out some different artists that maybe don't feel comfortable speaking up for themselves. So one of them I will shout out is Sage Neon. She's great. Another one is Julia. She goes by To Reach You, Julia. These are all like introverted, talented young ladies that like just don't feel comfortable coming up and showing themselves. Another one is Isabel, who I'm so proud of her. Like I said, I started on here on May, and I remember somebody made a post like, how did you feel when you made your first sale? And her comment was, I haven't made a sale yet. And I was like, gosh darn it, I'm gonna make her a Twitch show tonight. And I was so happy when I gave it to her, how excited she was to see somebody excited about her art. I'm proud to tell everybody today that she has over 600 pieces collected now. And I'm so fucking excited to see that. Like, this is how you grow. This is how you do it. That's the power of the community, how quickly it moves. And just because you haven't made a sale yet doesn't mean you can't. And there are just so many amazing, talented women. Raven with her 50 millimeter project is incredible. We're talking about Judy, Brittany Pierre, also amazing photographers, which I think the photography community is going to really take off. I can't pronounce her last name, Porfoli. She does a mental health space every Monday, and she has amazing photography. It's just so great to like see all of these women really rocking and rolling, and also being able to hold the torch to hold these spaces, because this is not easy. I think Tanya knows it takes a lot of energy to host these things and like, be a part of them and give your energy and give your time to really pay attention thoughtfully to what you're doing. So this is all a lot, and it's awesome that we're doing it together. And there are so many women that I want to shout out even here up on the panel. So big up to everybody in the room, and echoing what everyone else has shouted out so far. And I'm just very, very happy that we're holding more spaces like this, and keep rocking and rolling, ladies.
And I wanted to let you ladies know I'm running the analytics. I'm away from the computer right now, but we had 173 total listeners since we started in this space. So I'm just letting you know some analytics, and we are streaming on YouTube. I'm actually streaming on the Twitter page for Women Communication, also on Twitter Live, and it's on our Facebook and group page.
Amazing. That's awesome. And I love that we're being able to spread the word about such amazing women to so many people. And I want to keep jumping around because I see so many hands up. So I'm going to go to Penelope, one of our speakers, and then I see we've got other hands up. But go ahead, Penelope.
Hi there. It's difficult. I mean, that is a very difficult question to answer. Everybody up on the panel, of course, is super talented. Super talented. But to be able to name all the women that I admire for their art, for their kindness, for their sense of community would be impossible. But just looking around, just in this room, I see Malavika, Pink's within here earlier. Lola is a star to watch. She's really coming up. Hannah, Barbara, I mean, Elsami. I mean, there are just so many that I always don't even like doing this, because I feel like I'm leaving so many wonderful women, so many wonderful, talented women out by just naming a few. I could write a post and have it like 4 tweets deep and still only cover a fraction of them, to be honest.
I love it, though. That means that there's so much talent out there, and so many women up and coming, and so many women that we're going to see change the space. And I'm so excited to see that. And let's see, I want to hear from Georgia. I see your hand is up. Tell us who you love.
Yes, hi. Okay, so like I said, I am still fresh in this space, so I haven't had a chance to properly stalk all of you guys yet. But in the listening audience is Quartz. She's down there. She was one of my first NFT friends, especially in the girl space. And I just want to say shout out to you, Quartz. She has such a beautiful soul, and it translates into her work. And she just posted a not a collection, but like a series, say, of all these cute little elephants, and it was really cute. So shout out, Quartz.
Awesome. Hi, Quartz. I can't wait to check out your elephants. That's amazing. I love elephants. That's so cool. Breezy, I see your hands up.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to shout out Taro, and I see you're coming up to speak. I was going to say she's amazing. Taro's incredible. May is incredible. Wonder Mundo. I see XX Chang. I mean, we got heads. Kim, yeah, Elskomi, Lola, Hannah. I mean, these are heads in here. We got some serious heads in here. So thank you, everybody, for coming in here and listening in here, and like just sharing your art with us every single day. Like, it's amazing some of the things we get to see on our timelines, and how blessed we are to be around, you know, all these creatives. And it's just so amazing. I really want to hear from all the others, but yes, May and Wonder Mundo especially, I wanted to echo that they are incredible, and so many artists. You're absolutely right, Penelope. You feel silly not being able to name them all. It's like, this is what it's like to be accepting a speech, you know, like you don't want to forget anybody, but it's so great to see all of these heads up here. And yeah, I'll yield my time.
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, yeah, Taro, Chrissy, have you seen her work? It's amazing. May, like you said, I feel so bad that I keep missing people.
No, it's true. And I'm going to jump in too, though I didn't raise my hand, is Chrissy, May, and Ash. Holy shit. These ladies are like rocking the world. And specifically like Chrissy, when I gave her a foundation invite, and I was like, what, you don't fucking have one yet? And I just felt like so awesome to be able to give that out. And then you have May, who's like suddenly, like, just like we all have, starting to kick ass. These are some baller ladies. I love it.
Yay. And let's hear from Chris. I see you're back in the room. Welcome back.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes.
No? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Tori. That's one of the people I appreciate you all. I appreciate everyone here on the panel. But my favorites, and I honestly, I choose them because they nurture and they care for me when no one else does in this space, or when I feel like no one else does in this space. So my favorites, the people I would choose the most, are going to be Penelope, Octament, Tori, Nebo, Visuals, May. Whenever I DM May, she's always there to help me. And for me, and being a woman in a space, seeing more people like me, more Black and brown folk on stages and on panels, that's probably one of my most important things too. But yes, that's gonna. And, oh, We Are Eternal, Shade, Octomant, just so many women. But those are the ones who really like seem to have my back and watch out for me, and I just appreciate that.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And let's see, we're gonna keep opening it up because I see we've got lots of people who want to speak, and oh, we got more being requested, so I'm gonna start approving for you guys. Give me a second and we'll start approving everybody else to be able to speak as well. Okay. Oh, here we go. All right, everybody should be in now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them on. So go ahead, continue doing. I am approving from my end.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, so I see Oksomi. Sorry if I said that wrong. I see you got a hand up there.
Hi, Emily. Yes, you said it. No, you said it perfectly. That was
Awesome.
perfect.
Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to jump in really quickly. This is how I usually, everybody who knows me, I usually jump in, say what I have to say, and I get out because I have kids chasing me usually. But I just wanted to say this is a great space, and there are so many amazing women in here that are uplifting in the community. I myself have felt, I think we've all been in spaces where we felt like we weren't being heard. I certainly have. So having these spaces, it's needed. It's needed. I wish I had more time to have spaces because I would. And when I have more time, I will. Um, but it's much needed. And the amount of support that I've gotten from so many people, Tori, she's the one that gave me my foundation invite, and she is somebody who I consider a very good friend, and I lean on her, and it's just such a great feeling to know that there's people out there that do support you and are there for you and aren't going to make you feel silly for asking questions or not knowing something, or just that learning curve is it's big. But so I just wanted to just shout out so many people. And Penelope, you're right, there's so many people that we want to mention, but we can forget. But Penelope's another one, another amazing person in this space. May, I'm looking through Kamachi, Lola, keep an eye on that girl, for real. That girl has passion. There's a fire in her. And Art Venture, I'm sorry, Anusha Art Venture. She's not on here right now, but she's another one. She's super talented, such a loving person, very supportive. And I think, yeah, as long as we keep coming together like this and lifting each other up, then we're gonna get we're making our own table. I keep saying that. Like, whoever doesn't want us sitting at their table, we don't need to sit. We have our own table, and they're gonna want to come sit with us. So
I love that. I say that all the time. Like, we don't need their table. Just pull up our own, make a picnic. I don't care, but let's, yes, agreed.
Right.
Yes.
So we have as far as us, the speakers are concerned, I think we are at our limit, 8, 9. No, we should be fine. I don't know why, but I can't get Danny up. Noah, could I get Meredith? Oh, here we go. Got her up now. She's
Hi,
been
Tanya. I'll
there we
step
go.
down so someone else can speak. Thank you again, guys, girls, guys and girls.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was also stepped out, so someone. Oops, thanks for having me here.
Let's go ahead to, I see, Octomint, I'll be right with you. Tara's hand has been up for a bit, so I just want to jump over there.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Hi, good
How are
evening.
you doing? I just wanted to come by pretty quickly to say hi to all these beautiful, beautiful and amazing girls. And thank you for the kind words also. I'm a bit flustered, so but yeah, it is amazing to me to as some people know here, I am really, really new to the NFT space and all that, and I can't express how grateful I am that I found like such a supportive and great community with you girls, and I gotta thank you all for that. Like I legit had conversations with some of you here that made me cry on like upon like 2 hours of meeting you. So like it's majestic, and we know the power of it, right? And so yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for being awesome. I'm gonna step down. I don't have much to add today. I'm really here just listening, but yeah, thank you so much for being wonderful people. I'm not gonna list you by name because as Penelope previously stated, oh my god, I am so fearful of not remembering even one person. So yeah, everyone keep being amazing, and I love you all. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. And you just added so much. And you're right, this is majestic. Like the power in this space right here is absolutely just majestic. And I love it. Octomint, what's up? Let's hear from you.
Thank you. I am just, this is not going to be exhaustive or whatever, but I was listening to everyone. I was like, man, these are great names. So I'm just going to try to name drop a few more people that maybe weren't in the list or whatever, but I know I'm going to miss someone. Like immediately when I stop talking, I'm going to think of like 20. Okay. Anyway, I really like V Coleman and Machine a lot. For people who have like been around a long time and are really established and like will give you really solid advice. And I've got a lot of like up and coming friends who probably wouldn't normally get shout outs. So I'll try to talk about them. Yana Sabi, she's amazing. She comes to our women's space sometimes. She runs a few spaces of her own. She's really excellent at providing art critique and feedback to people. And I have a Gazelle Dasty, is also a lovely person. Come to our spaces. Is really supportive of people, but they're pretty new in the space. And let's see. Vosis Feralis is an awesome person who is Wonder Mundo knows really well, and Empress and some other people in here. I've known Vosis since I was first year, I think, and they have an amazing new collection right now out on Hen that everyone should definitely check out because it's a crazy deal. Well, I don't know if there are any left. Maybe not. I bought half of them, but there were some one of ones, and they were 5/10s, and they're awesome. They're body positivity pieces. We met the other day a non-binary person who goes by the name of Mr. Loverman, who is like one of the best public speakers I've ever heard, and I teach an English class, so I was pretty impressed. And then Em Rowe is a young woman, like I think 18, and she's a rock star. And I think Brisa knows her real well. Maybe I just know her a little bit. And Tan is also someone who does a lot of spaces. And let's give one more person. Layla. I really like Layla. Layla does like another one who's been around a really long time and does some really cool. They're just larger collections. I don't know what the proper way to call it is, but they're awesome and they're on Hen. And they're ducks and snails and they're super fun. So yeah.
Thank you. And Quartz, how about you?
Hey guys and girls, thanks so much for having me up. I just wanted to say firstly, thanks to Georgia for the shout out. She is just such a bright light in the photography community on here. It's just, it's like a breath of fresh air having her around, honestly. But yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I'm so passionate about women succeeding in this space. And I sort of take on that philosophy for the rest of my life as well. I'm an engineer full time, so I work in a very male dominated field. And I'm so passionate about women succeeding and women having a seat at the table. So I think this is awesome what you're doing and running this space. Me and me and Georgia actually tried to set up a space. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and we had the intent of like girls in NFT, and I think we had like 2 people join. But we met some awesome, like these 2 people that we met were awesome. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks so much for running this. Like, honestly, it's really relieving to see that there is such a good community here. And yeah, I've been in, like, I was in a space yesterday and it was, hey boys, yeah, the boys, like like, hello, I'm here in the background. So yeah, it's really nice to see you guys running this. And I'm sure there are so many amazing people in the crowd. I'm gonna stalk some of you. So but yeah, thanks for letting me speak. I can step down now.
No, thank you. And please keep running spaces, whether there's 2 people or 1 person that joins or 100 people who join, keep doing it, because the more that we all put it out there and keep talking and keep having these conversations, the more women are just going to be up and coming and again, eventually just rise up all together in this. And it's going to be amazing to see. All right. So
Course,
we've got about
Course,
50.
that
Oh,
was
go
so,
ahead, George.
sorry. I was just gonna say, Course, that was so sweet. I love you.
Love you, girl.
I love you both, and I don't even know you, but I fully stalked all of you on Spaces and now on Twitter and following all of you. So yay, we have new friends too. All right, so I'm gonna. Oh, Danny, hey, go for it.
Hi, I just wanted to say real quick, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to just say I'm so inspired by all of you. And the reason why I'm here, and this is not just, a promotion thing, it's dead serious. When I first started in NFT space, I was like, what should I put out there? And it was a collection called Ordinary People that's out there now. You can check it out off my profile. That's basically transcends gender, ethnic background, or anything that people have sometimes been categorized as and underrepresented, and something to just kind of get us in this space where everybody is all humans who deserve the same type of treatment and the same type of unity in this community and in anything they do in life. So I just wanted to spread that message from my end of things and tell you all that I'm so excited to dig through all of your artwork and get the inspiration and maybe even pick up a couple of NFTs along the way. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. That's awesome, and I'm sure we're gonna check out your stuff too. That's awesome to see, and I think it's great, and it's a good point to say too that it's humans in general making art. It's not women, men, etc. Just humans in general coming together to make art is an amazing thing as well. So we've got about 10 minutes if anybody, any of our other
I'll totally give you an answer if I have it, and if I don't have it, I'll find it. You know.
Hey Meredith, I also wanted to reach out. I just followed you. I looked at your work. You got some pretty cool stuff, and it looks like you are branching out into some other avenues. You are more than welcome to DM me, and anything I can do to help support your ventures, I'm totally here.
Wow, thank you so much, Tori.
Yay, this is what I love to see. This is literally why we do what we do at AWC overall. And I love this. Tanya, thank you for bringing this group of women together, because this is awesome. And I love the panel, and I think it's amazing everybody who has joined in and everything that we've gotten to talk about today. So thank you all. In the last few minutes that we have here, I would love for our speakers from today to also just be able to tell everybody where else they can find them, where they can find you on social media, or where they can find your NFTs. That way, you know, we make sure that everybody can stay connected as well. I'm going to start up at the top of my screen with Octomint.
Sorry, Emily, could you say that one more time? You cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
You say my
sorry.
name, that's
No, I was just saying. I was saying that we have about a few minutes left, so I just wanted everybody to, all of our speakers, to let everybody know where they can find them, their website, their social media, and where they can find their NFTs.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I am on octomint.com, and octomint.eth is my ETH domain. And you can find me on OpenSea and Foundation and on Hic et Nunc, but I don't have any more primary pieces there. Like, right.
Thank you. And
Sorry,
Brisa?
DM me if you have questions. Apologies.
Thank you.
No, that's great. Always DMs are always open. I think the DMs are like so important. People don't realize how much power in these DMs and these discords. You can definitely find me at brisabreezy.com, and I'm also brisabreezy.eth as well. And I'm on OpenSea, I'm Foundation, I'm on Hic et Nunc. I am all over the place. I'm actually on Twitch as well. I have a Twitch show where I highlight different NFT artists that don't really feel comfortable speaking in these spaces. They don't really have it all together yet how to shill themselves. Shill is, for people that don't know in the room, a way of selling their project without selling their project. And in a way, they have to sell themselves. So that's kind of why I created my Twitch channel, is just to highlight different artists that needed a little bit more love. So Twitch, YouTube, all of that. I love that Tanya's into streaming and podcasting and all of that. That's another thing that with these spaces, everybody should take advantage of. And that's something that Tanya is a leader in. So definitely DM everybody that's doing what you love to do. And I see Em and Rose up here, which I'm so happy to see as well. And I see Yulu as well, who has an amazing project as well. Just a lot of really good people that I'm going to yield my time. But thank you so much for having these spaces. And yes, more women, having more women's spaces. This is the way. I love to see it. Everybody, you know, keep it moving. Keep it upward and onward. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Brisa. And we'll keep the room open, or the space open after the 8 o'clock hour. I may have to jump off and put my kiddos to bed, but we will definitely keep the space open for a bit because we have so many speakers. But for our panel for tonight, let's jump over to Tori. Tori, where can everybody find you online?
Hey there. You can reach me at torybryant.design. That is my professional website that I use. But also, I am actually starting my own collectibles, so it's going to be Space Spots Game. You can see me there. You can also reach me out in DM here. There are so many ways to reach me. But basically, if you want to reach me via email, do the Tori Bryant Design. But if you want DM, yeah, just head over and click the button.
Thank you. And Penelope, how about you?
You can get hold of me in all kinds of places, but at the top of my profile, there's a link file link, and that has links to everything and everywhere that I am. So that's the quickest way to be able to hunt me and stalk me online. And I just want to mention I have an NFT giveaway going at the moment. So if anybody would like to try and win one of my NFTs, please feel free to see my pinned tweet.
Amazing. That's awesome. I hope everybody on here will enter that. And I know I'm going to, so that's awesome. And I just want to also shout out to Stacey, who we lost on the spaces today, but you can see her Twitter. It's #Beyond21. And check out her NFTs and all of her links on her Twitter page as well. So Tanya, I'm going to turn it over to you because I do have to put little ones to bed now. But for now, I want to say,
Did we get Tori to tell us how to get a hold of her too? Did we go through
Yep,
all
you
the
went our
speakers already?
you got me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like running the streams. We're everywhere right now. So okay, thank you, Emily. And I will chat with you later. But we're gonna keep it open. I want to I approve some speakers. So I want to let them share their thoughts. We have like 190 listeners, and again, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook group, and the fan page, and also we're on the Twitter page, Women Communication. And let me go ahead and bring up add as friend. There we go. Add as a speaker. There we
Really
go.
quick, I have to go. I'm about to go through security at TSA. But this space was really awesome, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for letting me come up here and talk, especially about the frat boys of the NFT space. I love all of you guys, and I'm already doing my due diligence stalking, and I'll be following all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let's go ahead and close up this space. And you know what, Kamachi, I'll let you up here, and I want to hear you speak. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tonya. Thank you so much. I want to point a spotlight about women that are in the spaces. I want to say that there are kindness around. All the women that you ask people and ask help, sorry, they give you an help, and they don't tell any time no, because they try to raise the voice. I think it's important to show our uniqueness. We need to be much more stronger. And when we go to the panel and we talk, and when the spaces are full of people, we needed to ask with the kindness they spoke in the mic. So sometimes we needed to have the courage to talk above others when we have something to say, because we are very strong, and this female energy surround all the people around in the space when we are there. So I suggest people to talk much more, to rise up and speak so much about themselves. We are a special person, not as a woman, as a human being. So I would like to point in this direction. We needed to be spread the love and the kindness. So thank you for letting me speak. Sorry, I'm not feeling fine, but yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts. And I want to go ahead and let Meredith grab the mic.
Oh, hi. I wasn't expecting to again, but I'm Meredith Marsone everywhere. Yeah, I'm going through right now. That's why I wasn't quite on my mic, following you all and checking you all out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to wrap this up. And Yulu, did you want to share something with us?
Hi, yeah. Real quick, not exactly on topic, but I am doing a fundraiser for Hope for Haiti, and we are accepting pieces from all artists who would like to participate. You can reach me via DM, and they're always open. And that's about it. If you're interested in the cause, I have a ton of information I can link you to on our page.
My God, you're speaking to something that I'm very passionate about. I'm actually, my co-host, Janine Grace, is in the space. I think she was in the space. But we do a Twitter Spaces for a cause. I just followed you. Please follow me back and love to host a Twitter Spaces for you, and so you can share your because that's really important. I've been so glad that you just popped in.
Thank you.
Jen is down. She's on the bottom.
You're breaking
And
up.
Clara, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for being patient. I was trying to get you up here. I was having a little issue.
Oh, yeah, no, it's all good. Thanks for having me up here.
Did you want to share something with us before we shut down the space?
Oh,
I want to be mindful because at 8 p.m. sharp is we're going to shut down, and I promise people on because women communication, I have a database that I've emailed everybody about this, and then of course when you email everybody, tell them about it. They can't make it, but they know I always make a copy of it. So
yeah.
I want to be mindful, make sure I send it all out to them. And did you want to share something with
Oh,
us?
sure. My name's Clara Volstead. I'm an artist from Canada. I'm an open trans woman, and my most recent project is I'm doing like a 4K project to raise for surgeries. And it was kind of like born out of like a need to raise money for surgery, but then it's sort of like evolved into like this giant thing, which has been like really amazing. And yeah, I do 3D animation. I'm like super inspired by like Pixar and like kids movies and stuff. So all my stuff is like handmade from scratch. And yeah, I just trying to draw a lot of inspiration from like kids movies and everything, and try to create stuff that's like fun and lighthearted. And like I come from a arts background, but I've just kind of strayed away from that and just sort of started making things that I really like and enjoy.
I love that. I love to talk to you offline. Maybe do a space with you and talk about your crowdfunding. That's I love doing that too. Oh my God, I'm never gonna have time for anything else. But but I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that
Yeah,
with
of
us.
course.
And yeah, bring some awareness.
Of course. We're probably, well, I can't say exactly when we're going to launch, but we're in like the very, very, very last stages of it. So stay tuned for that. So it should be fun. Yeah.
Thank you. And then Menro, I hope I did not just hurt your name there, but thank you for requesting the mic.
No,
Did you want to share?
you're good. It's Eminro. I know it's like tricky. I know I pronounce it wrong. But I'm that 18-year-old artist that Octomint mentioned. Hi, I'm Eminro. I don't really have much to say because I caught the end of this space. But I really just wanted to say hi to all the incredible women up here. Sending all my love to you and how amazing these women spaces are. I love coming into them because they're so supportive and loving, and everyone is just so kind and nice. It's like, and you could be friends with anyone in it. And I feel like it's so important that the women communities are like up and coming and kind of making their mark, because women are so important and people sometimes overlook that. But women are like the backbone to so many things. So it's so amazing to hear all these incredible women speak and hear about their pieces. I'll definitely be looking into everyone here because I love meeting new people. I love seeing their work, and I can't wait till you guys throw another space and I actually catch it, because I caught it at the end. I was like, oh, bummer. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to anyone who spoke, especially the incredible woman. You guys are doing amazing, and I can't wait to learn so much from you because I'm relatively new, but you can always learn something. So I can't wait to learn anything. Like if you guys have stuff and you're like, oh, I wish someone would like learn about this, literally DM me and be like, hey, I learned this trick on OpenSea, or hey, I learned how to do this. Literally just DM me. I literally crave knowledge. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you for letting me speak at the end.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to give out the mic to Dr. J, who's a good friend of mine and author. Hey, Dr. J, how are you?
Hi, Tanya. The energy in this space is phenomenal. And I wanted to tell everyone that while they've been speaking, I created a Twitter list called Women in NFT Art. And I have put most of you on there. Feel free to follow that and DM me if you want your name on it. And that's one way we can all stay connected.
Thank you, Dr. J. And then least but not last, Marissa, how are you? How you been?
Sorry, I was just trying to go tweet at Dr. J for that list, but I just want to say thank you for hosting a space for all the women. I only caught it in the last 10 minutes, so it's a little upsetting, but hopefully I'll catch the next one. I think there's been a few discussions today in other spaces already about how kind of it's important for making more spaces like this. So super happy that to catch this and that you guys are doing this. Well, you women are doing this and all of the supporters out there are doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I really appreciate everyone's support in this. We've been talking about this for months and it just finally made it but then I realized, I literally have been talking for this for months, and that, I'm noticing a lot of buzz online for NFT art, especially for women, and that like I said, they're predicting women will be taking over this space. But I think it's really is another opportunity for all of us to show our brand or who we are, our style, what we love, but yet, and also make some money out of it or collect a piece that inspires you. So again, I appreciate everyone for popping in, and I will be replaying this. This is right now, again, it's being streamed on YouTube, our Twitter page, our Facebook, our Instagram. So again, I appreciate everyone for doing this, and we will be back. And I'll send you guys, we have like almost 200 total listeners in the last 2 hours. So, and I will have a list of everyone that spoke and everyone's in this space, and I'll send out an invite for our next one. And again, if you have something that you want to talk about, please give us, let me know. Women in communication, we love to honor any women that out there is making a huge difference. So we want to start bringing that back to where we honor someone in our community that, even though, we usually do it in person, but we're looking at, our home is Twitter Spaces now. So if you have someone that you want to honor and you think that they should be honored and you want to raise awareness for their nonprofit, please reach out to me or AWCSF, and we will, reach out to them, and let's make an event out of it. And again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to go shut off this space. And again, take care, everyone. Have an awesome day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.